listening to the Mark Bradford Alchemy for Life podcast.
What do you want from me? Hey there. What do you want from me? You've heard and seen and read motivational speakers, motivational people, thought leaders, influencer, etc., etc., etc. You hear that you should live with passion, and you should reach for the stars, and that you should do a thing, and you should go for it, right? If you're lucky, they leave you feeling energized and excited about that next step. But then you hear them again, or you hear another speaker, or you see another motivational post, and it's the same thing. So now you're all excited and ready. But ready for what? That next step? That next thing? To live with passion and no regrets? But what is that, you think, as you continue to clothe yourself, to feed you and your family, to go to work and earn money? What is that? What do you want from me? You say as their pleas for your excitement and your pushing forward in life start to annoy you. You keep telling me to press on and be the best I can be and so forth. Then you see them again and again, and now you see a pattern. You're supposed to do it. They want you to do it. And finally you yell at the TV or the radio or the podcast or YouTube or the book. What do you want from me? The problem is they're not in a position to want what you want. They don't know what they want from you other than to succeed and be successful and perhaps do it in a way that's profitable to them. They can't answer your question, but they can continue to hammer you again and again and again. See, there comes a time in which you realize all the motivation in the world doesn't do anything if you don't know what you want. Want is desire, and desire's been demonized. You just want to be happy, but what makes you happy? You want to be successful, but what is success to you? You just want to be in a better place, but where is that place exactly? Before the first leaf falls, before you hunker down and batten the hatches for winter, before the weather turns to back to school weather, and something deep inside you says, I better get serious, figure out what you want. There's a sheet online right now you can fill out. It's only got 5 columns. It's not an in-depth evaluation. It doesn't even have any questions. Just 5 columns. Fill out the sheet, and you'll already be a lot clearer on what it is you want. Send this to me and have a phone call with me, and you'll be even closer. Does that make sense to you? Does this all sound familiar? Probably, right? Because that's what I experience. That's what goes through my head when I see motivational speakers and posts and I read things, because they're really made up of 2 things. 90% is motivation, and then the other 10% is some kind of guidance. And like I said, no one can really say you should do this. I mean, at least without talking to you, right? I mean, obviously the point of coaching is that people sit down with you and they get a good feeling for what it is you want, sort of, right? Because we all have our little secrets, and we all say, oh yeah, I think I should say that, I think I should say that. I think you want me to be excited about this. And then you do yourself a disservice, right? So if you selfishly and privately want a certain thing, then okay. Honesty with yourself goes a really, really long way, and dishonesty gets magnified when you sit down with someone who's trying to help you. So this sheet, let me tell you a little bit about this sheet. This simple sheet is the basis of the very beginning of going through the whole Alchemy for Life system of figuring things out. It's not a long interview because it doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters, and it's all going to come out later. All the sheet is just 5 columns, and it basically goes through the 5 facets of life: spirituality, health, rejuvenation, fun, learning, productivity, obligation. That's it. Just thinking about those 5 things sets some people off. I mean, in a good way. It makes them think, and sometimes they get googly eyes and they go, oh, okay. I don't know what I'm writing in the fun column. I don't know what I'm writing in the spirituality column, I guess. And I'm not just talking about people who don't really consider themselves religious or spiritual. There's still a spiritual element. There's still an element of reverence that you have to have for at least Mother Nature or your family or yourself or the universe or the way that atoms interact. I mean, there's got to be something there. When people think about this sheet, they start to see where they wouldn't fill it out, or they immediately start thinking, oh, you know what? I know what I'd fill out there. Oh, yeah. I mean, learning, I know, I have a full-time job, but I kind of have this hobby that I do a lot of reading for this subject that I'm just fascinated by. And then they kind of get all cheery. And that's what this sheet does. It starts to get you to think, and it gets you to think in a way with no compartmentalization and there's no chains on you. When you fill this out, you just fill it out. You don't have to go through 70 questions where you're like, look, I know what you're getting at. You're trying to figure out if I'm a lazy person or not. All right, I got it, or whatever. Or you're trying to see if just how much disposable income I have to go forward with this coaching thing. The sheet is very innocuous. It's neutral. That's what it is, and that's what this is all based on. And this podcast came from my personal frustration and also the frustration of people I've talked to where they're like, yeah, I don't listen to motivational speakers because I can't connect with them, and they're so busy telling me to go for it, they don't even think about why I don't go for it or even what I should be going for. So before you do any of that stuff, you have to see where your energy and your time and your resources are going. If you don't have the time to work out, you're not going to work out. If you feel you can't afford it, or you're so drained from work and taking care of the kids and everything, it's just not going to happen. And if you shove it in there, it's going to shove right back out and then some. You know that. That's exactly why people have bounce back when they try to diet. They lose, they lose 10 pounds and they gain 15 or 20 because the body says, oh no, we're not doing that again. So take a look at the sheet. Take a look at the site. If you are familiar with the Alchemy for Life Formulas for Success book, you already know what I'm talking about. If you visited the Alchemy for Life site, you probably have tried this, and maybe we have talked. But if not, we should talk. Try it out. You may very, very much like what you see. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Hey there, thanks for listening. I always appreciate your feedback, right? Well, here's a chance. You can connect with me on Instagram, via the Alchemy for Life site, or most other social media. If you like this podcast, you may love my new book, Alchemy for Life Formulas for Success. The 239-page paperback is available on Amazon and everywhere else you get your books. All this info is available at Alchemy for Life. Thank you. See you next week.